Elyette Part 1. A Late Night Discovery. My name is Riley. I'm 6 feet 2 inches, with a presence that turns heads but a humility that keeps me grounded. My skin is the kind of brown that glows in the right light, and my short natural hair is always neat. A low fade with sharp lines that's as easy as it is intentional. I'm plus-sized, with curves that fit just right, soft but strong, the kind of build that makes me feel at home in my body. Most days, I smell like sandalwood, patchouli, and a little vanilla, enough to make folks lean in without realizing why. I dress like I move through life, sharp but comfortable. Clean sneakers, crisp jeans, and button-ups that fit just right. My nails stay done because details matter, even when I'm keeping it simple. I love lo-fi and gospel, the kind of music that makes me pause and breathe. When I'm not busy with work or life's chaos, I'm reading through the stack of self-help books on my nightstand, trying to figure out how to balance creating with just surviving some days. It was late, and I was winding down with tea in one hand and my phone in the other. The day had been long, but I'd made space for this quiet moment to scroll, sip, and just exist. That's when I saw the post. A photo of a man tagged by a mutual friend, name listed simply as L. He looked sharp, polished in a tailored suit, exuding confidence that felt grounded, not overdone. I tilted my head, caught myself biting my lip, and before I could overthink it, I liked the post. A simple move that somehow didn't feel simple at all. Minutes later, my phone buzzed. A notification. L reacted to your like. I smirked. Oh? A message followed. L. So, do I thank you for the like, or do I assume you were just being polite? I leaned into the couch, sipping my tea as I typed back. Me. Depends. You want the polite answer or the real one? L. Always the real one. Me. Then no, I wasn't just being polite. You look good in a suit. Own that. L. Noted. And here I was thinking I was gonna have to fish for a compliment. Me. Nah, I'm direct. If I like something, I say it. L. I like that. So, Riley, since you're direct, tell me, what else do you like? I paused, tapping my fingers against my phone, feeling the smile pull at my lips. The conversation stretched from there, quick, engaging, the kind that had me laughing quietly at the way he played off my words. It was easy, no forced effort, no weird flexing. By the time I finally set my phone down, my tea was cold, and I was still smiling. Okay, L, let's see where this goes. The crew gathers. The next afternoon, Riley's house smelled faintly of vanilla candles, and the hum of Musique's Soul Child drifted through the space, setting the tone for an easy day. Her living room was already prepped for what had become routine. The crew stopping by, kicking off their shoes, and settling into their usual rhythm of talking, laughing, and eating whatever Sierra had curated this time. Sierra was first to arrive, balancing a carefully crafted charcuterie board in one hand and a bottle of wine in the other. Listen, she said, stepping inside. I really outdid myself this time. I don't even know if y'all deserve this one. Riley grinned, taking the bottle from her. You say that every time. And am I ever wrong? Sierra shot back, setting the board down like it was a prized possession. The arrangement was small but intentional. Brie and sharp cheddar, spicy honey, clusters of grapes, and a selection of nuts and cured meats. Simple but elevated, just like Sierra liked it. Talia and Simone arrived minutes later, carrying their usual energy. Talia in an oversized hoodie and leggings, looking like she just rolled out of bed despite it being well into the afternoon, and Simone effortlessly chic, as if she had somewhere important to be even when she didn't. Bria and Nia followed soon after, their voices filling the space before they even got through the door. Bria's dramatic storytelling and Nia's contagious laugh instantly adding to the mix. All right, let's get to it, Talia said, plopping onto the couch. What's been going on? They fell into casual conversation, work updates, complaints about life, Sierra's latest client drama, but Riley knew the moment to drop her news was coming. It was only a matter of time before someone asked. And sure enough, after a lull in conversation, she went for it. So, I met somebody. All 5 heads turned toward her at once. Oh? Simone was the first to speak, eyes narrowing slightly. You sure? 'Cause last time I checked, you said you weren't looking. Riley shrugged, a small smirk playing on her lips. I wasn't, but, things happen. Talia leaned forward, waving her hand dramatically. Okay, so don't leave us hanging. Who is he? Where'd you meet him? Details, sis. His name is Elle, Riley said, feeling the familiar flicker of excitement that had been sitting in her chest since their first messages. We've been chatting since last night, and listen, he's fine. Like, suit-wearing, strong-jawed, broad-shouldered, fine. Oh, we love a man in a suit, Sierra said, already reaching for a cracker. Continue. Riley grinned, unlocking her phone. Matter of fact, let me show y'all. She pulled up Elle's Facebook profile, tilting the screen so everyone could see. The collective reaction was instant. Oh, nah, Bria fanned herself. He's fine, fine. That man don't even look real, Nia muttered, leaning in closer. Like, where do people like this exist? Riley. Talia placed a hand on her chest. You said you just started talking? Girl, you need to marry him. Sierra whistled. Okay, this is premium. I'm impressed. Simone nodded slowly, studying the picture. I see the vision. What's the vibe, though? Riley exhaled, tucking her legs beneath her. He's got this calm, grounded energy. He's easy to talk to, and I don't know. There's just something about him. He listens, like really listens. And she let the last part land with extra emphasis. He's a firefighter. Talia nearly choked on her wine. Oh, hell no, not a firefighter. Girl, they be toxic. Simone swatted her arm. You say that about every profession. Because I be right, Talia countered. But, okay, I'll reserve judgment for now. Bria raised a brow. What's his sign? Girl, I don't know yet. Riley laughed. I ain't even asked all that. Well, you need to, Bria said, dead serious. Nia nodded. I mean, you don't want to end up with a damn Gemini and not know it. Don't do that. Simone, a Gemini, gave them all a look. Riley rolled her eyes, but she was grinning. We've already decided to meet for dinner. I like him. Feels different. Sierra arched a brow. Different like how? Riley paused, considering. I don't know yet, but I'm trying to keep an open mind. Simone raised her glass. Here's to new things, then. Just make sure he really is what he seems. Riley clinked her glass against hers. Trust me, I will. Date setup, the build-up. The conversation with Elle didn't fizzle out the next morning like some late-night exchanges do. If anything, it picked up right where they left off. Elle, so direct Riley, do you believe in breakfast, or are you one of those coffee until noon types? Me, coffee first, then food, but only if I feel like cooking. If not, brunch wins every time. L, solid answer. What's your go-to brunch order? Me, depends on my mood, but you can't go wrong with shrimp and grits. And a mimosa. L, classic. So tell me, how do you feel about dinner? I smirked at my phone. Me, are you asking how I feel about the general concept of dinner, Or are you asking me to dinner? L. Look at you catching on quick. Me. I try. L. Then let me be direct, too. Have dinner with me. It had been a while since someone asked me out like that. No guessing, no dancing around it. Just a simple, confident, I want to take you out. I tapped my fingers against my phone, my mind briefly flicking to my usual take it slow mentality. But this didn't feel rushed. It felt right. Me. All right, L. Let's do it. L. Thursday night, 7 p.m. You free? Me. I am now. Expectation setting. The crew's final thoughts. That evening, Riley was lounging on her couch, legs stretched out, flipping through a book that she wasn't actually reading. Her phone buzzed again, this time the group chat. Talia. So, did you lock in the dinner date or what? Sierra. Yeah. And did you properly vet this man, or are you just out here going on vibes and tailored suits? Me. First of all, Sierra, yes, I locked it in. Second, what's wrong with going on vibes and tailored suits? Simone. Nothing. If you're okay with possibly ending up on an episode of Dateline. Me. Y'all are ridiculous. Talia. We're protective, but also a little nosy. Me. I like him so far. He's got this smooth confidence, but not in a let me sell you a dream way. He's easy to talk to. Sierra. Mm-hmm. And you're sure he's not too smooth? We all remember Brian. I groaned, closing the book on my lap. Me. First of all, Brian was a lesson. Second, Elle feels different. Simone. Well, let's hope so. But you know the drill. Drop the location before you go. Let us know you made it home. And if anything feels off, text the emergency word. Me. Of course. Y'all happy now? Talia. We'll be happy when you tell us how fine he is in person. Riley shook her head, laughing to herself as she tossed her phone aside. Her friends were a lot, but they weren't wrong. She was careful by nature, but for once, she was letting herself enjoy this, letting herself be excited. She leaned her head back against the couch, exhaling slowly. Tomorrow night, dinner with Elle. And for the first time in a while, the idea of a date didn't feel like a risk. It felt like a possibility. The ritual, setting the vibe. Riley moved through her space slowly, letting the rhythm of Silk Sonic guide her. The smooth groove of Leave the Door Open filled the air, setting the perfect mix of playfulness and sensuality. She let the song carry her, swaying slightly as she moved from room to room, picking out her outfit with intention. Tonight, it was tailored trousers, cut just right, sitting comfortably on her hips. Not too tight, not too loose, just the right amount of damn she put that on. She paired it with a ruffled blouse, something that flowed effortlessly but still had structure. Classic gold hoops, her nameplate necklace resting just at her collarbone. Her loafers, Angela Scott, clean, crisp, and undeniably dope. She tightened her belt, making sure everything sat just right. She leaned into the mirror, running her fingers through her short curls, not really styling them, just touching them, grounding herself in the moment. A familiar sweet scent lingered on her skin as she rubbed a little oil between her palms. She took a slow breath, exhaling as she settled into the calm she needed for the night. She let the smoke roll smoothly from her lips, feeling it ease into her bloodstream, wrapping around her like a second skin. No rush, no anxiety, just the perfect headspace to step into something new. By the time she was fully dressed and standing in front of the mirror, she looked like she knew she looked good, not cocky, just aware. She grabbed her bag, gave herself one last once-over, and let a smirk creep onto her lips. All right, Elle, let's see if you really fine. The reveal, walking into the unknown. The restaurant was one of those low-lit, intimate spots, the kind of place where the waiters knew your name if you came often enough, where the ambiance made even a casual night feel like something special. Riley stepped inside, scanning the room for Elle, and there he was, sitting at the bar, posture relaxed yet commanding, looking just as sharp in person as he did in photos. That same crisp, tailored suit, the effortless confidence, the kind of presence that made people take notice without trying too hard. Riley let her eyes run over him as she approached. Fine. Something nudged at the back of her mind. It felt, Riley shook it off. Riley? The voice was smooth, warm, unexpected. Still, she shook it off, focused on the moment. On the way, he smelled, rich and smooth, the kind of scent that lingered just long enough to make you lean in. "I'm glad you made it," he said, smiling. "Table's ready if you are." She followed him through the restaurant, still caught in how easy he moved, how natural it all felt. They sat down, ordered drinks, and fell into conversation just as effortlessly as they had over text. Dinner was good, easy. He was funny, sharp in the way Riley liked. Not too much, just enough to keep her engaged. He asked questions, actually listened, responded with thoughtful little comments that made her feel like he really caught the details. But still, she tilted her head slightly. Elle caught it. Smirking slightly, she leaned forward. "You keep tilting your head like you're trying to solve something." Riley paused, heat creeping up her neck. "Do I?" A slow nod, a small knowing smirk. "Let me help you out." He exhaled, eyes holding steady on hers. "I'm a woman." Silence, not loud but full. Riley froze, blinked hard. What?" Elle sat back, taking a sip of her drink, completely unbothered. "You thought I was a man. I get that a lot." Riley's mind stumbled, trying to backtrack through everything, every assumption, every second of attraction, every tilt of her head that suddenly made sense. Her lips parted, but nothing came out. "I mean, Elle." She smirked slightly. "Yeah, it's short for Elyette, spelled Elyette. Another pause. The shift was undeniable. Still, the attraction hadn't disappeared. If anything, Riley inhaled deeply, gripping her glass, feeling the weight of it in her palm, processing, adjusting. Elliette set her drink down, tilting her head this time. "So, what's your move?" Riley exhaled, letting her fingers skim the rim of her glass. "Well," she said, voice slow, thoughtful, "I guess I'm gonna have to rethink everything I assumed about tonight." Elliette smirked. "Good. That means we're off to an interesting start." Post-date, the lingering heat and the conflicted mind. When they stepped out of the restaurant, the air was cool but not cold, the kind of night that made you want to walk a little slower just to enjoy it. The streets were alive, but not overwhelming, and Riley could still feel the warmth of dinner, the lingering taste of wine, the easy laughter, the weight of realization still sitting on her chest. Elle walked beside her, hands in his, her pockets as smooth and steady as she had been all night. Riley was still adjusting to the shift. It wasn't that she was uncomfortable, she wasn't. But the part of her brain that had already filed Elle under fine-ass man was now scrambling to refolder the entire situation. They reached Riley's car, and she turned, looking up at Ellyette, really looking this time, not through the lens of what she thought she knew, but what was actually in front of her. Fine was fine, period. That hadn't changed. And for a second, she thought about it, kissing her. It was a brief but undeniable thought, the kind that settled low in her stomach before she could even catch it. But before she could act, Elle leaned in first, soft, sure, deliberate, but not for a kiss on the lips, a kiss on the cheek. The press of her lips was warm, lingering just long enough for Riley to feel the heat rise to her skin. And then it was gone, and Elle stepped back with that same easy confidence, like she knew exactly what she was doing. "Good night, Riley," she said, voice smooth. Riley exhaled through her nose, nodding. "Yeah? Good night, Ella." She got in the car, shut the door, gripped the wheel a little tighter than necessary, and when she pulled off, the only thing she could focus on was the way that damn kiss still tingled against her skin. The late night spiral, Riley's in her head. The drive home was quieter than usual. No music, just the hum of the road and the occasional glance in the rearview mirror, like she expected some kind of answer to suddenly appear there. By the time she got inside, she had changed into her favorite oversized tee and was curled up on the couch, phone in hand, just staring at it. Not at texts, not at notifications, just thinking. Her mind ran through the night over and over again, dissecting every moment, every word, every small thing she hadn't noticed before. She had never thought she'd be here, having to reframe the way her brain understood attraction. Not because she didn't know better, not because she was struggling with Elle being a woman, but because she had already decided Elle was something else. That was the part she couldn't get over. It wasn't about what Elle was. It was about what Riley thought she was. And unlearning a perception? That wasn't easy. The next morning, the group chat chaos. The first message Riley sent into the group chat was the kind that shut everything down immediately. Riley. Bitch. Riley. Why was Elle a whole-ass woman? Talia. Excuse me? Sierra. Wait. Run that back. SLOWLY. Simone. Bria. Girl, stop playing. Nia. Riley, what the actual hell are you talking about? Riley, I said what I said. I get to the restaurant. I sit down. We're talking. Everything is cool. Then this meth looks me dead in my face and goes, I'm a woman. Talia, oh my God. Sierra, Riley, you literally showed us pictures. How you ain't put two and two together? Nia, right, 'cause we all saw the same pictures, and this is news to you? Riley, y'all, look at those pictures again. Full suit, jawline, shoulders, big hands. Everything was giving fine-ass dude. Bria, I mean, you're not wrong. Simone, but you also weren't right. Talia, so you really sat through a whole-ass dinner thinking you was on a date with a man? Riley, yes. Bria, and you ain't questioned nothing? Riley, I mean, I tilted my head a few times, but I didn't think it was that. Sierra, oh, not you tilting your head like a confused puppy. Nia, I need a minute. I don't know if I'm crying or screaming. Talia, girl, I threw my damn phone. You can't be serious. Simone, okay, but real question. How do you feel about it? Riley, bitch, I don't know. Bria, what do you mean you don't know? Was the date good or not? Riley, yeah, it was really good. Like, really good. Talia, so now what? Riley, I mean, it's interesting if nothing else. Sierra, nah, you still feeling her? Don't lie. Riley hovered over her keyboard, hesitating. Because was she? She was still unlearning, untangling, reframing. But one thing was undeniable. Riley, yeah. Bria, oh, we in it now. Talia, so? When is date number 2? Nia, because you know you going on another date. Simone, at this point, you gotta see it through. Sierra, one more round for science. Bria, for science. Talia, for science. Riley, y'all are annoying. But as she stared at the screen, her mind was already drifting to the same question. Was she going to see Elle again? Because if she was being real with herself, she already knew the answer. If you've made it this far, thank you for staying till the end. Now, tell me, what would you do in this situation? Would you stay and see what's up or run for the hills? Stay tuned, because part 2 drops next week. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming. Boundaries will get tested, and Riley's just getting started.